Good morning, fifth grade. I wish you a happy return to online school, CDS at home, and though I would much rather be in the classroom with you and moving and playing and dancing and seeing your beautiful faces, here we are, and we're going to make the best of it. I'm going to use this week to review the instruments of the orchestra, the families of the orchestra, and to work on discerning the different sounds, especially when we get into the woodwinds and the brass. Those seem to be sometimes the more challenging ones if we don't have a lot of experience and our listening hasn't been reinforced, weekly with those sounds. So we're going to do two different activities today, and the first one is going to be on the Music Play Online that you see right here. So you're going to log into musicplayonline.com. I'm logged in as a teacher, so this second part where it says grade /5, grade 5, don't worry about that. Just musicplayonline.com. Now, I wanted to go over one of the biggest issues that people are having when they go on to some of the games and the sites that I'm assigning. So up here, and I talked a couple of you through this last time, if you don't see that you're connected to Flash Player, you get must install Flash Player, or Flash Player is necessary, or you need a plugin, or anything like that that's not allowing you to play a game that we are going to be doing, you immediately go up to this left-hand side of the menu, the bar where you put in your search, okay, where you've searched, right beside the address, in the address bar. So here I have a lock sign. Sometimes it'll be a little tiny letter I, and you'll click on it. And when you do click on it, you'll get this drop-down menu. And so what I want you to look for is when you have an issue, I want you to troubleshoot on your own first. And you'll see where it says Flash. And then you'll just go over here to the little drop-down arrow. And sometimes it says allow and block in this little rectangle. And or ask. It just depends how your computer is set up. If your computer is set up because your parents want it to say ask, that's why each time you sign in to something that you need Flash Player for, it's asking you. So you have to answer it. If you don't answer it, you won't be able to get in. So I have mine set, as you can see, default is where it's set to always do that when I open my computer, to ask. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to click allow. And then I'm going to close it. And then I'll be able to play whatever game it is that I want to play. Okay, so you will have this video in your archives to access if you forget. Okay, so instead of all of us running to Zoom meetings saying I can't get in because of my Flash Player, this is the answer. And I will do it again in a moment. So the first thing we're going to do today is go over the instruments of the orchestra. You're going to do this on your own, and you're going to click on instruments of the orchestra. Why? Because it's important, because it is going to be valuable in future lessons that we do. As your listening has to get a little bit more and more defined, and you have to hear more than one instrument at a time. It's really important to hear one at a time. So the first part of this is an introduction, and that's this part. So you're going to go through all of these sections, and once you start, it'll just go page by page to the different sections. First things first, you start with the seating plan. You're just going to look through it. You can see anytime you want to come back to the menu, you click that center button. But you will not probably need to do that. As you go through, you're going to have highlights and reminders about how many families. You guys should know this. Whenever you see it say click, you're going to click and you're going to listen. I want you to listen to the first one so you can see how, and listen to hear how long the section is. Because I want you to listen through everything in its entirety, and they're very brief. you listen, what I'd like you to do, every time you listen to a section or an instrument sample, I want you to find with your fingertips on your thigh or on the tabletop or your desktop, I want you to find the beat and just get used to feeling the beat of and finding the beat of each. Sometimes they're slower tempos, but I still want you to interact with each listening sample by tapping the beat very gently so that you can get a feel for it. Let's listen one more time to the strings and see if you can count the beats. I'm not going to ask for an answer, but just to get an idea how long it is. So you may have gotten a number kind of around 20, depending on when you started tapping or finding. 20 beats is not a long time, so I want you to make sure that everything you do today, you listen till it's finished. Please don't whip through this. Oh, I got it. I don't need to hear anymore. No. Listen to it until it's finished and you hear silence. And then you go on. So you're going to continue through the entire slideshow. And each time you come to something to listen to, you'll do what I just showed you. Then we get into reading, and I want you to read everything. Okay, I want you to get a good idea. And then when we talk, when it comes to these sections, I also want you to listen to each instrument by itself. So here, let's just listen. Find that beat. And that was even shorter than 20. That might have been 9 or 10, maybe. So I'd like you to go from the smallest to the largest, or the largest to the smallest, and I want you to really get a sense of what they have in common, what you hear that sounds similar, and how the tones go up in range or down in range, depending on how large or small the instruments are. You're going to go for each section. You're going to go through each family, and each time listening for the quality of those instruments, what makes them sound the way they do, and why are they even grouped in a family. I really love this page because the celesta and harpsichord are on there. And once you're finished, you'll review by trying to name them before you click on them, and then listening. So I'm going to pick this one. Okay, what is it? Right, viola. And then you'll hear it. I really want you to listen to it until it's done. If you click them all at the same time, you won't be able to hear them all. If you'd like to try to hear them 2 at a time after you've heard them 1 at a time, that's great. But always start with 1 at a time. This is how challenging 2 can be. And the double bass was very different, vastly different from the violin. If you pick 2 that are very different in their size, it's easier. When you pick 2 that are very similar, you can hear how you have to really be tuning in a lot more, and closing your eyes sometimes does help with that. Okay, so after you review all the families, then you will be finished. When you are finished, you will escape out of this view, and you'll have a link to another website, which I really love. It is the Musical Mysteries, and it's fun because this particular whoever compiled this, the NI schools, it's in Ireland, so you'll get to hear Irish accents, which I really enjoy listening to. You will start on the home page, so where you're meeting Robbie and Curly, you're going to listen to what they have. You get to go through a really interesting journey with him and his dog, and then you get to kind of solve a mystery and do some matching, some listening, some reading. And the most important part about this is wait until they're finished talking, and they're going to narrate all the boxes. So you have to be very patient. For example, I will play this first part for you.
Meet Robbie and Curly. They have some musical mysteries for you to solve, and they need your help.
When you're sure they're finished talking, then you can click get going. Okay, I'll do that with you just for a moment. It sometimes takes a second.
Robbie and Curly are at the waterfront hall to see Grandpa conducting the orchestra. Grandpa is busy getting ready backstage.
Now, I'm not going to go any further because I really want you to do this on your own. It's very fun. Again, the most important thing is that you listen, you let Robbie or Grandpa or whoever's narrating these sections here, over here, to finish. Each song sample, each narration, let it finish. Sometimes it's going to take a second to load. If you just see a blank page, that's okay. Just take a couple breaths and wait because it will load. It's sometimes it takes a moment. It's not going to be instant. You don't have to worry about this. Once you get started, you'll just go through each of these ovals as you proceed through the story. When you're done, there's a quiz, and you will say, yes, I will take the quiz. You'll take the quiz. There are 8 questions, and if you don't get them all right, I want you to retake it until you get them all right. And I'm going to just count on your word, your honesty that you've done that. And that is it. Never skip animation. Don't worry about that. And again, this is one of those flash player, so you have to go up here to the left of the address that you've entered in and click on the little eye, go down to the flash, the little piece, it's a little puzzle piece, go across and make sure you click allow. Okay, so that will be the answer to your question, I'm sure. If you have any other questions, I will have the Zoom on if you need me. Otherwise, you don't need to come on, and I will trust that you're okay, you're successful, and you are on board and on your way. Okay, so discerning listening, really use this as an opportunity to re-listen and to really be able to tell the difference between the instrument sounds, especially the oboe and the clarinet. Those two are the trickiest ones. Sometimes there is a definite difference. It takes a lot of practice and re-listening to hear the difference. So if you have other ones that are more difficult for you, revisit them. Don't just go through this to get it finished. This is a great self-study activity. And the first one especially is a great self-study activity for you to have the time on your own to listen again, compare it, listen again. Which one was higher? Listen again. Oh, the oboe is a little bit of a buzzier sound than the clarinet, which is a little smoother. So really use your time, okay? And really get your listening improved, because this is a great way to do it and have fun at the same time. Okay, guys, enjoy, and I will be back with more activities on Wednesday. Have a great day.